When Duke took on UCF in the second round of the NCAA tournament, it was supposed to be a game where the storylines and narratives of Coach K versus Coach Dawkins, disciple versus mentor, and Taco Falls versus Zion Williamson, 7'6" giant versus 6'7" athletic beast, would outweigh the product on the court. But everyone seemed to forget that this was March. So let's jump right into the second half, where it seemed that Duke was taking control of the game, especially after Zion nails this three-pointer to increase the Blue Devil lead to 8 with a little under 16 minutes left in the game. But this is when Coach Johnny Dawkins made a brilliant adjustment. He put Taco Falls on Tre Jones and had him sag off of him. This did two things. It first dared Tre Jones and other non-shooters to shoot three-pointers, which is what I detailed my last video on, and also put his 7'6" shot blocker by the rim at all times to contest drives to the basket. And after missing 2 threes and seeing their lead be cut to just 3 points, Duke's initial adjustment was to have Tre Jones set ball screens. This was a smart move because it involves the slow-footed Falls in a pick and roll, but because Duke literally does not have one three-point shooter on the floor besides RJ Barrett, they end up with a Jones mid-range, which is not a bad look, but he still can't hit. And because Falls had just contested the shot, he is able to rim run before Javin DeLaurier can get back, and is thus rewarded with an easy dunk to cut the lead to just 1. And suddenly, we have a game. I went back and charted all of Duke's possessions and sorted them by whether or not UCF's big man stood in the paint while guarding one of Duke's non-shooters. Through the first 24 minutes of the game, UCF never did this once, and Duke dropped in 51 points on 43 possessions for a healthy 1.2 points per possession to go with 50% three-point shooting and a +8 margin on the scoreboard. Once UCF implemented this strategy, however, Duke's points per possession dropped to 1, and its three-point shooting dropped to 33%, while UCF took a +11 point margin to get back in the game. And this is the clip that went viral, where we can clearly see Terrell Allen of UCF daring both Tre Jones and Jordan Goldwire to beat them by shooting a long 3. But it's a testament to the elite playmaking and skills of RJ Barrett that he can somehow draw a foul when the entire defense is staring a hole directly through him trying to stop him. After a timeout, UCF runs this nifty set AI rip with an Iverson cut and rip screen for the lob alley-oop, and this game is all tied up at 54 apiece. Reeling from an 11-3 run, Tre Jones opts for another three-pointer with 15 seconds still on the shot clock and comes up short. Duke then goes zone to try to stop the bleeding and gets a trap on Aubrey Dawkins in the corner, but BJ Taylor bails UCF out with a contested 3, and UCF is now somehow in control of this game. But Duke comes back and Zion will not be outdone as he hits another 3, a shot that defenses will gladly concede as he is shooting a ridiculous 74.9% from 2 on 11 attempts a game compared to just 33% from behind the arc. With Duke still in zone, UCF struggles to get the ball even below the foul line and burps up yet another long 3 that misses, and now Duke can run in transition. Zion gets ahead of steam and meets Taco Falls at the rim yet again, drawing his 4th foul. And this was truly a matchup that did not disappoint, as Zion had never had to work this hard to get shots up before this game. Zion shot just 7 for 18 with Taco on the floor, being blocked 3 times by the big man, compared to going 5 for 6 with Taco on the bench. But Zion had a lot to do with that, as he drew 4 of Taco's 5 fouls and limited him to just 25 minutes of action. Let's take a look at Duke's switch to a zone press and 2-3 in the half court on the defensive end. After giving up that long contested 3 on the first possession, Duke followed up by getting 4 consecutive stops in a row where UCF struggled mightily without their big man. And they also seemed discouraged to attack the basket with Zion as the rim protector, instead opting for long 3s or mid-range shots while preferring to alter their shots mid-air instead of going up strong through contact. And on the other end, Duke's non-perimeter threats started to show some life, as on back-to-back possessions, Tre Jones nails a three from the top of the key, and then Jordan Goldwire hits one off the dribble to open up a 5-point lead. And this caused a bit of second guessing, as they opt to play Goldwire straight up in the corner on the next possession, leaving the paint wide open for this nice cut from Zion on a back screen for the easy layup and a 7-point lead. But UCF quickly fixes this and goes back to sagging off, and Goldwire can't knock down the uncontested look on the next possession. With the game slowly turning in Duke's favor, Aubrey Dawkins comes up clutch with 2 huge shots to cut back into Duke's lead. So up by 2, but with Taco back in the game, Duke's offense again struggles to find openings with a defense that packs the paint. And it doesn't help that Goldwire drives right into the lane but doesn't even look at the basket, further solidifying himself as a non-threat. But once again, Zion takes over, and this is just insane, as he goes at 3 guys, yes, 3 guys, and still finds a way to put the ball in on the putback. Amazing. Yet every time Duke seemed to pull ahead, UCF would come right back, and this 3 by Dayon Griffin to get Duke out of their zone, and then another by BJ Taylor off an Iverson cut, gives UCF the lead once more. Now tied at 70, UCF comes down and runs floppy out of a diamond set, and gets Aubrey Dawkins the ball on the wing. And there's no other way to describe this but clutch, as he buries this jumper to take a 2-point lead. And after a stop, UCF goes back to Dawkins again, but this time he was shut down by Barrett and they have to reset. With the shot clock winding down, Cam Reddish expertly smothers Taylor into a desperation shot that misses, and while it looked like it hit the rim live, resetting the shot clock and giving UCF an easy putback dunk by Taco Falls, the replays were inconclusive as to whether or not it hit the rim, and the call on the floor stood. So down by 4 with 2 minutes to go after a 10-2 run, it's imperative that Duke get a quality look, so they have Zion set a ball screen for Barrett, involving their 2 best players. But with Falls in the lane again, Barrett passes to Jones in the corner, who takes the 3 with 22 seconds still on the shot clock. He misses, but to make matters worse, Zion goes for the offensive rebound instead of getting back on defense, and now UCF has a 2-on-1 break to extend the lead. But somehow, Dawkins fumbles the pass and can't convert the alley-oop. This is where it gets interesting, because missing baskets so close to the rim in transition tends to give up great looks on the other end, and UCF fails to communicate while getting back, leaving Dayon Griffin to realize too late that he must pick up Delorier as he sets a ball screen for Reddish, as we know that Falls is already responsible for Jones. This leaves Reddish wide open for the 3-pointer to cut the lead to 1, and UCF finds themselves on the wrong side of a 5-point swing. Still up 1, UCF runs veer pin to try to take advantage of Duke's high hedging on ball screens, but Barrett does a nice job avoiding the screen and Dawkins can't knock down the long 2. Still down 1, UCF fails to pick up Delorier again as he sets another ball screen for Barrett. If Barrett used the screen to the middle, he would have had a wide open look, but he instead rejects the screen and gets a tough look over Falls. But Delorier is again there to save a possession, fighting on the offensive glass. Even still, Delorier can't knock down his free throws, and UCF is still clinging to a 1-point lead with under a minute to go. So they run another Iverson cut into a slip ball screen, and then another ball screen. Rejecting the screen, BJ Taylor draws a foul on Zion, and after nailing both free throws, Duke is down 3 with 45 seconds to go, and after an initial handoff and attack of the closeout, Duke's offense becomes stagnant once again with Zion at the top of the key. So Zion takes an off-the-dribble 3, having only taken 11 shots off the dribble in the entire season, and misses. But incredibly, this ball ricochets to about the one spot UCF couldn't secure the board, especially since Taco Falls was standing right below the rim. And credit Delorier for his effort on the offensive glass again, as he cements his position as the unsung hero for Duke. So Zion gets another chance, and inexplicably, Aubrey Dawkins is too close to the non-threat Delorier on the perimeter instead of packing the paint, which had worked so well all second half. With only 2 guys to go against, yes, only 2 guys this time, Zion is able to execute his patented spin back to his left hand and somehow has the strength and touch to finish over Taco Falls for the and one lay-in to cut the lead to 1 while simultaneously fouling out UCF's big man. Wow. And with a chance to tie the game with 14.4 seconds left in the game, Zion pulls the string on the free throw. But watch how Delorier is able to get a great push going for the rebound, and without falls in the game, Barrett is able to corral the miss and put it back in, and somehow this possession ends up being 4 points for Duke and gives them back the lead. So UCF calls their last timeout with 8.1 on the clock, down 1 and 1 basket away from taking down the #1 ranked team in the country. They run zipper fist and slip the ball screen out top. This gets BJ Taylor going downhill, and he gets a good look at a floater, but sees it rim out. Meanwhile, Barrett loses track of Dawkins, who gets a clear path at a tip-in for the win. But in what felt like an eternity, the ball rolls around the rim and out, and Duke somehow survives. These games against Florida State and UCF have given the rest of college basketball the blueprint to beat Duke. That is simply to pack the paint and force the ball out of Zion, RJ, and Cam's hands and make others beat them. This creates an interesting dilemma for Duke, who needs to play Trey Jones because of his defensive pressure, basketball IQ, and passing ability. But this type of defense turns this strength into a weakness on the offensive end. And while no other team in the tournament has a 7'6" center to patrol the paint, and let's not forget that going 9 for 18 from deep on the Blue Devils is incredibly difficult, Duke's title chances will come down simply to whether or not another Blue Devil can knock down some open looks when the defense inevitably overhelps on Duke's big three. Duke fans, make sure to subscribe here for more in-depth analysis on Blue Devil basketball. Also, check out my blog that is linked in the description for even more Duke basketball content.